It's been well over 16 months since Seth freaking Rollins was the World Heavyweight Champion. Think about that, guys. 16 months. Well over 16 months, which is insane. Yes, he did have several opportunities at the world heavyweight title since his return from his injury last year, but obviously he had an alternate route, that being Money in the Bank. Just a couple weeks ago at SummerSlam, he cashed in Money in the Bank on CM Punk to win the World Heavyweight Championship for the second time in his career. Now Seth Rollins is in need of new challengers for his title. But the question is, who will have what it takes? Who will... How can I... My God, I can't even think straight right now. I apologize. Who will accept the challenge of facing Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, knowing full well that both Paul Heyman and the Bronze are going to be at ringside? Who will take up the challenge? Well, we got to look at the entire Raw roster, and honestly, it's the list of who's who, right? You've got AJ Styles, you've got Akira Tozawa, you've got Austin Theory, who apparently, rumor has it that he has just been released of his contract with WWE. You got Julius Creed, you got Chad Gable, you've got CM Punk, you've got Cruz del Toro, Dominic Mysterio, the current Intercontinental Champion. You got Dragon Lee. You've got El Grande Americano, or Chad Gable's other half. You got Finn Balor, one half of the World Tag Team Champions. Grayson Waller. I would say Gunther, but he's gonna be sidelined with an injury, having no facial surgery, so he's gonna be out for a while. There's also Ilya Dragunov. He's been out of action for almost a year now, and apparently he is cleared to get back in the ring, but it's a matter of when we can expect him to return. My guess is it'll probably happen possibly after Clash in Paris, which is possible, but we'll have to wait and see. There's Ivar, JD McDonough, the other half of the tag team champions. You've got main event Jey Uso, Joaquin Wilde, Julius Creed. You've got Kofi, Logan Paul, Ludwig Kaiser, who we hadn't seen much of him in the ring all that much. Otis, he's been out for a few months now. Probably going to be out for another 3 months maybe, due to a weird undisclosed injury. There's Penta, Pete Dunne, Rey Mysterio. He's also been out with an injury. Rusev, Sami Zayn, Sheamus. There's Tyler Bate. Again, much like Pete Dunne, we hadn't seen much of Tyler Bate in a while on Raw. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like both Dunne and Bate should have stayed in NXT if they weren't gonna do much on the main roster. Just put them back in NXT. And then of course you also have Xavier Woods as well. Here's the one thing that irks me, right? Like, CM Punk had been champion for a little over 5 minutes. He gets cashed in on by Seth Rollins, and now literally the entire world is just like saying, "Oh, I hate Seth Rollins. Fuck this guy. This guy sucks." No, we need a new champion. Think about this. CM Punk had not been champion for well over a decade. Think about that. Think about that. It had been well over a decade. Actually, I think since 13. I think since January 2013 was when he was last a world champion. Interestingly enough, he was the WWE champion and he held the title for 434 days, which was actually, I believe, the fourth longest reign of the early 2010s. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the only other person that held the WWE title for more than 200 days was, I believe, John Cena. In his, I believe, his first reign as champion, he was champion for 287 days, I think it was. I think 287 days, and then in his second reign, he was champion for 300. I want to say for 394 days, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. I believe it was 394 days. So that right there is just history on its own. So the fact that CM Punk wins his first world title in WWE since 2013, only for Seth Rollins to just take it away from him, it's a bit fucked up. It's a bit fucked up. It's pretty asinine in my honest opinion. But when you really look at it, you look at a guy like AJ Styles. Trust me, we all know he loves to be a world champion. He wants the Intercontinental Championship more than anything else. So he's out of the picture. Akira Tozawa is doing a whole lot of nothing. Let's just be real on that. He's doing a whole lot of nothing. Austin Theory, he's been out for a minute. The Bronze. I think it's only a matter of time before one of the Bronze turns on Seth Rollins. My guess, it'll probably be Braun Breaker. I feel like just because when he was going at it on his own on Raw, he was already a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, so he's had a lot of success. But we all know, when it comes to Seth Rollins in factions, he always ends up getting hurt, comes back, and he ends up becoming a babyface again. So this new heel run of Seth Rollins, I have a feeling that it's probably not gonna last long. He might just end up getting hurt in the process, but we'll have to wait and see. The Creeds, they're doing a whole lot of nothing. The LWO's doing a whole lot of nothing. You got a large plethora of talent. You got Jey Uso, who wants to be champion again. But I feel like because that we're getting closer and closer to Clash in Paris, I feel like that the best way to resolve the issue is to do a fatal 5-way. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, LA Knight, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso. And the reason why I bring up those 4 guys, each and every one of them has had their own issues with Seth Rollins at one point or another. Obviously CM Punk, this rivalry goes beyond professional. This is more of this has been very personal for a very long time. This dates all the way back to January 2014 when WWE announced that CM Punk was going to leave WWE, and we all thought he would never come back. Seth admitted that that CM Punk had ghosted Rollins in a interview earlier this year. So the fact that CM Punk, we found out that tonight on Raw, Punk is going to supposedly kick off Monday Night Raw, and I can honestly say that Punk is definitely gonna be saying a lot of shit, and it ain't gonna be pretty. So obviously, Punk is definitely owed a rematch for the World Heavyweight Title, as is main event Jey Uso. He is also owed a rematch for the World Title. Yes, he did lose his automatic rematch, but with Gunther now out of the equation, Jay could potentially put himself back into the picture of the World Heavyweight Title. And then, of course, LA Knight. This goes back to Money in the Bank, where LA Knight, for the third straight year, gets screwed out of the Money in the Bank briefcase for someone else. And so the fact that LA Knight still has that in the back of his mind proves that LA Knight, he is not letting it go. And then you got Roman Reigns. Enough said. Enough said. I think, in my opinion, the rivalry that is Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, this has gone way beyond professional. You want to talk about Rollins' rivalry with CM Punk being personal? This one is beyond that, because the Shield, it was more than just a faction. It was a brotherhood. It was a bond. And we all knew that. We all knew that from from when they started out in FCW, which was one of WWE's original developmental programs, if you will. And then, of course, dating into their time in NXT. Excuse me. All three of them being current / former world champions with the addition of Dean Ambrose. One could argue that Roman Reigns definitely does have another title run left in him, but it depends on how the fans would react to the idea of Roman Reigns becoming World Heavyweight Champion. So, in my opinion, I feel like the only way that Seth Rollins could put his past behind him is if he battled all four guys in one single match. Maybe even throw in someone else. Throw in a sixth guy, like maybe Sami Zayn, or maybe even Penta. Maybe potentially throw in Finn Balor. I know that Balor has had his issues with Jay and Roman and Seth and even with Penta over the years. So maybe throwing him into the mix could definitely make Clash in Paris. It could make that match the main event for Clash in Paris. But we'll have to wait. And see. We are still less than a couple weeks away, so there is still a little bit of time left. But I think the only way the Clash in Paris could be the premium live event to watch is if that match was on the card and it was the main event. But if Clash in Paris ends up becoming a one-on-one match between Seth Rollins and someone else, which in my opinion, that seems like an act of injustice, because all five of those guys that I just mentioned, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Penta, LA Knight, Finn Balor, all five of these guys have had their issues with Seth Rollins over the years. If all five of them don't get their fair opportunity at the title at Clash in Paris in a potential six-pack, then what the hell is the point of Seth Rollins being world champion again. Why not have just kept the title on CM Punk? That might I get it. I get that it's a bit of a far-fetched idea, but if you really think about it, Seth Rollins has made more enemies in the last 5 months, literally in the last 5 months, than he had in the last 5 years, which is saying a lot. Considering the fact that he made an enemy out of Dominic Mysterio during the pandemic. And you guys already know exactly what I'm talking about. But I will say, if it came down to it being 1-on-1, I think it would have to be CM Punk. I think because that Punk got screwed out of the world title, he would definitely be owed a rematch. So again, 6-pack, if not CM Punk. But let me know down in the comments below who you guys believe should challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that will do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.